Flying Thunder God Technique. The Flying Thunder God Technique is one of the top-tier space-time jutsu, and even though it can technically be passed down, not just anyone can use it. The one who created it, Tobirama Senju, the Second Hokage. But the guy who truly turned it into a legendary move is Minato Namikaze, the Fourth Hokage. So, how strong is the Flying Thunder God? In simple terms, it allows the user to teleport instantly to any location they've marked with a special jutsu formula. This mark can be placed on the ground, weapons, or even on opponents, literally anywhere. Sounds simple, right? But this vanish and reappear ability is exactly what made Minato the fastest ninja of all time. In battle, this technique let Minato pull off some insane feats. Remember his fight against Obito? It only took him a few seconds to read Obito's attack, teleport behind him using this technique, and slam a Rasengan right into his back. Not only is it ridiculously fast, but it's also one of the best defensive jutsu out there. Imagine attacking someone, and they just disappear, only to pop up behind you and counter in an instant. Then there's the time Minato, who was just a Junin back then, faced off against the AB combo. He threw a bunch of kunai with his jutsu formula all over the place and started teleporting between them like crazy. His opponents barely had a chance to react. He even left a mark on the Eight-Tails tail, meaning he could have finished off Killer B if he wanted to. And let's talk about A. The guy is fast, insanely fast, with his lightning chakra armor. But at the end of the day, it's just a speed boost. Flying Thunder God is space-time ninjutsu, a whole different level. That's why A could only call himself the fastest ninja after Minato died.
Just a second. We really appreciate everyone who helped us reach 3,200 subscribers last month. Our next goal is 10,000 subscribers. Of course, we will need to improve more in every aspect, but we still need your support. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it. Thank you very much. Next,
Night Guy. If there's one jutsu that screams absolute dedication, it's gotta be Night Guy. This isn't just an S-rank taijutsu move. It's the ultimate forbidden technique of Might Guy. To pull off this technique, Guy has to fully open all 8 gates of the 8 gates release. And in case you forgot, even elite ninjas struggle to open just one gate. Opening all 8 is basically a death sentence. When activated, Guy's body bursts with a blazing red blood steam, and his chakra takes the form of a massive fire dragon surrounding him. Then, with insane speed, he charges in and delivers a kick so powerful, it bends space itself. At that point, Madara was in his 6 paths form, pretty much unkillable, and even he couldn't dodge Night Guy. Guy's kick was so strong it shattered part of Madara's body, left him stunned, yeah, spitting blood, and straight up admitting that if he took another hit, he might not survive. That just proves that even though Night Guy is a pure taijutsu move, it ranks up there with some of the strongest jutsu in Naruto. I mean, there's a reason why the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist went in as 7, but only 3 made it out when they fought Might Dewey. But, as always, power comes at a cost. That kick completely shattered Guy's leg, and his body started breaking apart, a clear sign that he had gone way past his physical limits. If Naruto hadn't healed him in time with 6 paths chakra, Guy would have been dead for sure. Tailed Beast Ball. The Tailed Beast Ball is the ultimate jutsu of the tailed beasts. Basically, this technique works by mixing yin and yang chakra in a precise 8:2 ratio, compressing it into an ultra-dense energy sphere. And then, boom. This is easily one of the most devastating attacks in the Naruto world. A single blast can flatten mountains, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. But this isn't just about raw power. It takes perfect chakra control to execute, which is why it's classified as an S-rank jutsu. Not everyone uses it in the traditional way either. When Obito became the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, he used the Divine Tree to fire off multiple tailed beast balls at once, like a living cannon. Meanwhile, Naruto, always the creative one, managed to compress it into his hand, turning it into a massive Rasengan-style attack. There are also enhanced versions of the tailed beast ball, like the continuous tailed beast balls. Instead of one massive explosion, this technique splits the energy into multiple smaller spheres, firing them in rapid succession. This boosts attack speed, widens the area of effect, and makes it almost impossible to dodge.
Wind Release, Rasenshuriken. The Wind Release, Rasenshuriken is the upgraded version of the Rasengan, developed by Naruto by infusing Wind Release chakra into the original technique. Instead of just a spinning energy sphere, the Rasenshuriken takes the form of a four-bladed shuriken, rotating at insane speeds. At first, this technique had major drawbacks. It was highly unstable, forcing Naruto to go close range just to make sure it didn't disperse before impact. But the biggest issue? Serious self-damage. Every time Naruto used it, the razor-sharp chakra shredded his own arm, causing severe injuries. Tsunade even banned him from using it because of how dangerous it was. After learning Senjutsu, Naruto leveled up his Rasenshuriken game. Now, he could throw it from a distance, avoiding self-harm while also expanding its attack range. When it detonates, the core of the Rasenshuriken releases a massive vortex, filled with countless microscopic wind blades that tear through an opponent at a cellular level, completely disrupting their chakra flow and shutting down any regeneration. It's literally one hit, one kill. But of course, Naruto didn't stop there. He went on to create multiple variations, from giant versions to tailed beast-infused Rasenshurikens. He even combined it with tailed beast balls and truth-seeking orbs to push its destructive power to a whole new level, making Rasenshuriken one of the most versatile jutsu ever seen. Edo Tensei. Edo Tensei is one of the most terrifying forbidden jutsu in the shinobi world. This technique allows the user to revive the dead, turning them into warriors with nearly all of their original strength. The summoner can control them at different levels, ranging from giving basic commands to completely erasing their personalities, turning them into soulless puppets that follow orders without question. The biggest advantage of Edo Tensei? Immortality. Those revived can regenerate from any damage, whether they're sliced in half, burned to ashes, or blown to bits. They always come back. They also seem to have unlimited chakra and can't be killed through normal means. I mean, they already died once. How do you kill them again? That said, there are ways to stop Edo Tensei. You don't have to fight them to death, but shutting them down requires extreme measures. The first method we saw was sealing their souls using powerful jutsu like the Reaper Death Seal. Sometimes the resurrected shinobi can free themselves. Another way? Forcing the summoner to cancel the technique, like how Itachi used Izanami to make Kabuto undo Edo Tensei. But one thing to note, killing the summoner doesn't stop the jutsu. Once cast, it stays active. Dangerous? Absolutely. This technique can bring back the greatest shinobi in history and turn them into unstoppable weapons, giving a massive advantage to the user. If Tobirama hadn't banned it and instead used it in war, let's be real, the Naruto world map would look very different. Honestly, Konoha might have been strong enough to take on all four great nations at once. Reaper Death Seal. The Reaper Death Seal is easily one of the most powerful jutsu ever introduced. This technique summons the Shinigami, the death god, to seal away an enemy's soul forever. Using this, jutsu requires a special ritual. First, the user completes the hand seals to summon the Shinigami. Once it appears, it places a curse mark on the user and then extends its arm through their body to grab hold of the target's soul. The moment the soul is caught, game over. The victim is completely immobilized, unable to resist as their soul is slowly ripped from their body and sealed inside the caster. The point is, the Shinigami always takes its payment. As soon as the sealing is complete, the Shinigami devours the caster's soul too. Both souls are then trapped inside the Reaper's stomach for eternity, locked in an endless void of suffering, unable to reincarnate, escape, or find peace. Sounds like an eternal prison sentence, right? Well, there is a way to break it, but it's not pretty. The only method to release the sealed souls is through a ritual using a special Shinigami mask. The person performing the ritual allows the death god's spirit to possess them, then slices open their own stomach. Since the Shinigami mirrors the action, its belly is cut open, freeing all trapped souls. But here's the problem. Who survives after slicing their own stomach open? Unless you've got some wild backup plan like Orochimaru's body swapping technique, you're not walking away from this ritual alive. Because of its insanely high cost, the Reaper Death Seal is a last resort.
something you use only when there's no other way. And it's power. No matter how strong you are, once this technique is activated, you're done. Because the user literally signed a contract with the death god itself. While at the end of the day, ninja are still just humans. Kirin is a lightning-fast attack that carries the raw power of nature itself. Created by Sasuke Uchiha, Kirin uses real thunder from storm clouds, making it an attack that's almost impossible to dodge. Instead of just using chakra to create lightning, Sasuke taps into the immense energy of the sky, then channels it with his chakra to strike down his target. That's why the speed and penetrative power of Kirin are so incredibly fast. This attack is so powerful, it can obliterate large structures in the blink of an eye. Remember when Sasuke used it against Itachi? Yeah, with just one single strike, Kirin completely destroyed what was left of the Uchiha hideout. One hit, total destruction. However, there's a big catch. To launch Kirin, Sasuke needs to have a storm cloud already formed in the sky. That's where the technique hits its biggest weakness. If the weather isn't stormy, Sasuke needs to create his own storm. He does this by using fire style, typically something like Amaterasu, to trigger the formation of a thunderstorm. This takes time, making Kirin something that can't be launched immediately like other jutsu. Raikiri, or lightning cutter, is essentially a specialized version of Chidori, created by Kakashi Hatake himself. While it's basically the same technique as Chidori, Raikiri is finely tuned to be sharper and more precise. And yes, it requires insane speed to use effectively. This speed makes the user vulnerable, and if you're not careful, you could leave yourself open. The technique demands Sharingan to safely execute it without getting wrecked in the process. Even though it's a powerful jutsu, you just can't spam it. In the early days of Naruto, Kakashi could only use it 4 times a day because it drained his chakra like crazy. But by the time we hit Shippuden, Kakashi's chakra control had gotten way better, and he was able to use it more frequently, and even get creative with its applications. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, Kakashi was able to take it to the next level, using Raikiri with the power of the 6 paths to attack Kaguya, which is honestly something that would have been impossible with a regular technique. He even took it up a notch by combining Raikiri with Kamui, making the lightning strike able to pass through any material, essentially making it one of the deadliest techniques in the entire series. And yeah, Raikiri, like all lightning-style jutsu, is wicked sharp and capable of causing devastating damage. If you get hit by it, it's like the end of the road for you. Kisho Tensei. It was originally developed by the puppet army from Tsunagakure, who were studying how to bring life to puppets. But this technique went from bringing life to inanimate objects to actually saving a real person. That's some next-level stuff. The deal with this jutsu is life for life. Basically, you sacrifice your own life to bring someone else back from the dead. There's only one time this technique was actually used in the series, and that was when Chiyo decided to resurrect Gaara after he was killed by Akatsuki. Of course, Chiyo doesn't walk away from this one. She dies after using the technique, and with her, this powerful jutsu was pretty much lost to history. So yeah, that makes this technique even more special and valuable. Alright, now that we're talking about puppets, let's move on to another S-rank jutsu. Red Secret Technique, Performance of 100 Puppets. This is the ultimate jutsu of Sasori, a puppet master's. Now, normally, when a ninja uses puppets, they can only control about 10 at a time, 1 per finger. But Sasori, nah, the guy controls 100 puppets at once. And get this, instead of just sending signals through his fingers, Sasori connects the core of his body directly to the puppets, meaning there's no delay between his thoughts and the puppet's movements. Sasori even claims that with this move, he wiped out an entire country. Sounds like a bit of bragging, right? But then, you see these red puppets charging at you like a freaking storm, and each one is poison to the max. And yeah, his words suddenly don't feel so far-fetched. White Secret Technique, the Chikamatsu Collection of 10 Puppets. Now, it's not about the numbers game like Sasori. Here we're talking about quality over quantity. These 10 puppets are absolute legends, created by Manzeman Chikamatsu, the grandfather of all puppet masters. Instead of overwhelming the enemy with sheer numbers like Sasori's army of 100, Chikamatsu went for a smaller, more elite squad. Each of these puppets has its own unique abilities and mechanisms, meaning they can work together in perfect harmony to deliver a devastating combo. We're talking taijutsu, ninjutsu, bukijutsu, you name it. These puppets can do it all, and they can even sync up to pull off some seriously powerful moves together. Phantom Dragon's 9, Consuming Seals. This is one of the most powerful sealing jutsus used by Pain and the Akatsuki. This jutsu seals the tailed beasts, separates them from their Jinchuriki, which is a process so grueling and painful that it literally leads to the death of the host. First, Pain summons the Gedomazo, then the 9 Akatsuki members have to stand on the tips of the statue's fingers. Chakra pours out from the statue, activating special symbols on the members' rings. From there, 9 chakra dragons burst out from the statue's mouth and wrap around the host, starting the sealing process. And don't forget, summoning the Gedomazo requires not only the Rinnegan, but also a huge amount of chakra. This jutsu is designed to help revive the Ten Tails, making it not just about sealing, but about setting up Akatsuki's ultimate plan for a revival of unimaginable power. 8 Branches. 8 Branches technique is a terrifying transformation jutsus. When Sasuke is pushed to his limits and forced to unleash Orochimaru's chakra within him, part of Orochimaru manifests as a giant white serpent with 8 heads and 8 tails, each head with its own consciousness and unique strength, and it's massive. Each head operates as an independent combat unit, creating a multi-directional offensive force that's extremely dangerous. The destructive power of the 8-headed serpent is shown when Orochimaru can destroy the environment around him with simple slithering movements. And if that's not enough, he can make each of the 8 heads open their mouths and use the Kusanagi sword, which adds unpredictability and versatility to the already chaotic battle. This jutsu is pretty top tier, but unfortunately, it ran into Itachi's Susanoo, which has not 1, but 2 sacred treasures. Spirit Transformation Technique. This is one of the most unique and troublesome jutsus, and it was used by Dan, Tsunade's one true love. The essence of this technique is the ability to separate the soul from the body, allowing it to exist as a ghostly entity that can move freely through space. While in soul form, the user can phase through solid matter, like walls, and head straight for their opponent. But here's the real kicker. They can possess someone else's body. This can range from simple espionage to taking full control of a target's actions. In extreme cases, possession can even kill the victim as their soul collapses from the pressure. And since the soul is immune to normal attacks, the only way to deal with the user is to trap them in a barrier jutsu strong enough to contain them and track down Dan's body. Dan used this technique to take down hundreds of shinobi throughout his life. He had dreams of becoming Hokage, and with an S-rank jutsu like this, he had the potential to make it happen. Water Prison Shark Dance Technique. If there's one move that really gets under your skin, it's definitely this one from Kisame Hoshigaki. Here's the deal. Kisame creates a massive amount of water and turns it into a sphere-shaped prison with himself as the center. This water ball moves with Kisame. No matter where the victim tries to run, they're still trapped inside. And that's not all. Kisame merges with Samehada, turning into this half-shark, half-ninja hybrid, allowing him to swim freely in the water like he's in his element. While Kisame moves around, launching attacks, the victim is stuck, struggling for oxygen, slowly losing strength, and drowning. The only downside? It's great for one-on-ones, but if Kisame's up against multiple opponents running all over, he's gonna have a harder time keeping everyone trapped. But let's be honest, how many people would actually survive long enough to counterattack anyway? Creation Rebirth. This is the ultimate healing technique in the Naruto world, and Tsunade is the genius behind it. Once she activates it, her body starts healing instantly from any wound, whether it's just a scratch or a deep stab. It's called the Pinnacle of Ninja Medical Jutsu because while it's active, the user can't die. Yeah, immortality for a short time. But the point is, Creation Rebirth doesn't actually heal old cells. It forces the body to create new cells at a crazy fast pace. You know, cells can only divide a limited number of times, and every time Tsunade uses this technique, it shortens her lifespan. So, in a sense, it's like a double-edged sword. She's saving herself, but also killing herself a little bit every time. And of course, we can't forget the advanced version of Creation Rebirth.
Strength of 100 technique. Now we're talking peak level healing jutsu. This technique is like Creation Rebirth on steroids. The mechanism is pretty much the same, but it can only be activated once the user has accumulated enough chakra in the 100 seal, Byakugo, on their forehead. This seal doesn't just heal wounds, it maintains continuous healing without needing focus, without needing hand signs. As long as there's chakra left, the user is basically immortal. On top of that, Byakugo gives the user a massive chakra boost, which helps them heal and increases the power of their attacks without interruption. It's essentially an auto-heal system built into the user's body. You see, when Tsunade was stabbed through the stomach by Madara's Susanoo, she healed up in seconds, like nothing ever happened. This woman just casually shrugged off a fatal blow, and we're talking about a hit that could kill even some of the strongest ninjas. Because of how ridiculously powerful the Byakugo is, Tsunade had a rule. Top-tier medics who have mastered it could jump straight into battle without hesitation. The only catch? If they run out of chakra, the immortality is gone, and overuse could seriously cut down their lifespan.